Adam Smith, father of economics. Adam Smith was born on June 5, 1723 in Kirkcaldy, Fife, Scotland. He was a Scottish economics philosopher, pioneer of political economy, and one of the leaders of the Scottish Enlightenment. Today we will be reviewing his years at university, his teaching career, books, how Smith's ideas continue into modern times, and maybe what his opinion would be on the current workplace during COVID-19. Also known as the father of economics or the father of capitalism, Smith wrote two astonishing books, The Theory of Moral Sentiments in 1759 and An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations in 1776. The latter, often abbreviated as The Wealth of Nations, is considered his magnum opus and the first modern work of economics. In his work, Adam Smith introduced his theory of absolute advantage. Smith entered the University of Glasgow when he was 14 and studied moral philosophy under Francis Hutcheson. Here he developed his liking for liberty, reason, and free speech. In 1740, Adam attended Oxford University, but had a terrible experience. There was an incident where a teacher confiscated David Hume's A Treatise of Human Nature from Smith and punished him severely. He does not credit Oxford University for any of his accomplishments and left before his scholarship ended. Smith's discontent at Oxford might be in part due to the absence of his beloved teacher in Glasgow, Francis Hutcheson. Francis Hutcheson was born in August 8, 1694 and died August 8, 1746. He was an Irish philosopher born in Ulster to a family of Scottish Presbyterians who became known as one of the founding fathers of the Scottish Enlightenment. He is remembered for his book, A System of Moral Philosophy. Hutcheson was an important influence on the works of several significant Enlightenment thinkers, including David Hume and Adam Smith. Adam Smith began performing public lectures in 1748 at the University of Edinburgh, founded by the Philosophical Society of Edinburgh under the patronage of Lord Kaimes. His lecture topics included rhetoric and Bell's letters, and later became the subject of The Progress of Opulence. On his latter topic, he first expounded his economic philosophy of the obvious and simple system of natural liberty. While Smith was not fond of public speaking, he found great success in it. In 1751, Smith became professor at the University of Glasgow teaching logic courses. In 1752, he was elected a member of the Philosophical Society of Edinburgh, having been introduced to the society by Lord Kaimes. Smith took over as head of moral philosophy 1 year later after the previous passed away. He worked as a professor for the next 13 years, which he characterized as by far the most useful and therefore by far the happiest and most honorable period of his life. Smith thrived socially during his time as a teacher at the University of Glasgow. He attended nightly dinners with food and drink that included the company of his colleagues and favorite students, where they discussed economics, politics, and other intellectual topics. Smith published The Theory of Moral Sentiments in 1759, which included some of his favorite Glasgow lectures. This work contained information about human morality depends on sympathy between agent and spectator, or the individual and other members of society. Smith defined mutual sympathy as the basis of moral sentiments. After the publication of The Theory of Moral Sentiments, Smith became so famous that many affluent students left their schools in other countries to enroll at Glasgow to learn under Smith. After the publication of the Theory of Moral Sentiments, Smith began to give more attention to economics in his lectures and less to his theories of morals. Adam Smith introduced the idea of finding meaning in the workplace. Most individuals find the idea of working boring. He thought of the idea of specialization. If you have a specialization, that means you focus on a specific aspect of a larger topic. If you're a nurse, your specialization might be pediatric care, which means you focus on providing care to infants and children. He also noticed that when you are in a giant corporation, it is easy to feel worthless or forgotten. In a small business, it is easy to feel special and cared for. Bosses need to remind their employees of their purpose at their job. Smith was around for the beginning of consumer capitalism. This age introduced luxury goods to the middle class. Luxury consumerism had a huge role to play in capitalism. Smith knew that consumer and luxury capitalism will bring a lot of money into the country. For humans to be happy, they need to have access to beautiful cities, parks, recreation, and more. People also need access to reading and the arts. Smith theorized people want access to fulfillment in life. If a company can think of a product that brings meaning to life, they will definitely be rich. Smith also noted that the rich people do not care for the poor people. He spent time thinking of ways to assist the poor through the rich. He theorized that if we tax the rich too much to help the poor, then they will leave the country. So that was not an option. He introduced the idea of philanthropy, where the country rewards the rich for their charity. This brings out a sort of competition amongst the rich to achieve the most awards. Adam Smith in modern times. In 1982, Francois Mitterrand, the first left-wing president of France's Fifth Republic, introduced a wealth tax that was swiftly abolished by Jacques Chirac in 1986, but reinstated 2 years later when Mr. Mitterrand was voted back into office. The tax, called the ISF, Impôt sur la Fortune, stayed in place until 2017 when it was abolished by current President Emmanuel Macron. The rate was charged on individuals with a net worth of over 1.3 million euro, with the rate changing from 0.5% to 1.5%. While it might have helped social solidarity in France, the revenue it raised was paltry. In 2015, a total of 343,000 households paid 5.22 billion euros, an average of about 15,200 per household, according to the Financial Times. It accounted for less than 2% of France's tax receipts. It led to an exodus of France's richest. More than 12,000 millionaires left France in 2016, according to the research group A New World Wealth. In total, they say the country experienced a net outflow of more than 60,000 millionaires between 2000 and 2016. When these people left, France lost not only the revenue generated from the wealth tax, but all the others also, including income tax and VAT. My opinion. Adam Smith's ideas are very much alive to this day. The aftermath of COVID-19 introduced a wave of workers quitting their jobs to work at home and starting their own business. I would like to think that Adam Smith would be supporting the modern workers' decision to do as they please if they are supporting the economy. He understood that working in a large company can make an individual feel lost in the workplace. I also believe his ideas will continue to apply to economics for hundreds of years to come.